We're kicking off today with Crown Jewel, which opened with the Bloodline Civil War as Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa's respective groups fought in 6-man tag team action. Tonga wasn't part of the match but was still present, and the crowd in Riyadh went crazy for Reigns and the Usos before Jade and Tama started for their teams. With the show's intro and entrances, it was about 20 minutes before the match began, with the pair taunting each other between moves, and Jimmy got the first tag of the match. This was the first tag between the Usos since July 2023, and when Reigns asked for the tag, Jay tagged in his brother, teasing frictions as Solo also tagged in. Jimmy only scored a 2 count, and this match was in line with typical Bloodline multi-man matches that focus more on storytelling than work rates, chain wrestling, or high-risk moves. Instead, it was the definition of sports entertainment, but that doesn't mean the 6 competitors didn't put in a great effort to make it fun. It'd be a lie to say that this was the most action-packed match of the night, but it did what it needed to do, as Sikoa's Bloodline was a cohesive unit, with Reigns' side showing trust issues. The OTC and the Street Champ tagged in at the same time and began trading punches. Both men survived each other's best shots before Sikoa got the win after 3 Samoan spikes. Sikoa and allies continued to assault Reigns, Jimmy, and Jay post-match, but Sami Zayn came out, and while Solo was ready to hug Zayn and wanted him to join him, that didn't happen. Zayn leveled Sikoa with an exploder suplex, but also accidentally kicked Reigns when Sikoa avoided the hit, leaving Jimmy and Sami to argue while Reigns tried to recover. The main event of Crown Jewel saw Cody Rhodes and Gunther compete for the men's Crown Jewel title, and they were slow to lock up as fans chanted on and off. After a moment of savoring the atmosphere, the pair began with a series of wrist locks, and Gunther out-wrestled Cody for the first stretch as the pair focused on grappling. Once the intensity increased, both men took greater risks, and Rhodes showed signs of life after spending several minutes being beaten down by the Ring General. Rhodes was able to counter a sleeper by rolling back into a pin to win the title in a match that in many ways felt like a throwback. Neither man were doing flashy moves or trying to cheat, and instead it was 2 accomplished wrestlers fighting to see who is the very best in WWE today. Outside of his one loss to Sami Zayn that he avenged recently, the Austrian had never been pinned or submitted since his call-up from NXT, so this result is a big deal. Even if the Crown Jewel Championships amount to little beyond Saturday's show, Rhodes will hold a pinfall victory over Gunther that shows he is vulnerable. That means that the next few challengers for Gunther will need to be sacrificed to re-establish him as a top man in WWE, as well as showcase the value of the World Heavyweight title. WWE has revealed that a Fatal 4-Way will take place on the next episode of Raw, with the winner earning a title match with the Austrian. Seth Rollins, Dominic Mysterio, Damian Priest, and Sheamus were announced after speculation before the announcement that it'd be Sheamus or a returning Braun Strowman. Sheamus' presence in the match adds even more excitement as the Celtic Warrior participated in both the pre-show and post-show panels for Crown Jewel. There was a serious error with this announcement though, as Mysterio shouldn't be in this contenders match, as he already has a guaranteed opportunity at the World Heavyweight title. On Raw, Mysterio defeated Damian Priest to earn a shot at Gunther, and it seems WWE has forgotten its own recent history by making Dominic have to earn a title match over again. Nevertheless, fans eagerly await to see which of these 4 superstars will emerge victorious and challenge Gunther in what will be a high-stakes episode of Raw in Riyadh. Who are you rooting for to take on Gunther for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship? Share your predictions in the comments below. This week, Goldberg appeared for SEC Nation and in a blockbuster announcement shared that he'll have his retirement match in 2025. When shown footage of his confrontation with Gunther at Bad Blood, he said the Austrian was the frontrunner to be his final opponent, but stopped short of saying that this will be the match. Do you want to see Goldberg's final match be with Gunther, or is there a better opponent for the WWE Hall of Famer? Let us know if so in the comments. Back to Crown Jewel, and Kevin Owens kept his promise to make Randy Orton pay for choosing Cody Rhodes over him after Bad Blood, as he attacked Orton during the Viper's entrance. Owens ambushed Orton with multiple chair shots, and while the match was called off, their fight continued and spilled outside of the ring. In the end, Owens smashed Orton with the top of a road case and laid him on a table and, climbing to a higher platform, finished off the assault with a huge elbow drop. This sent both men crashing through the table, and footage then showed Orton being carried out of the arena as he was simply too hurt to get out on his own. On the post-show, Owens said he never wanted the match to happen, so he didn't mind that this never became an official contest between the two. What mattered to him was seeing Randy Orton unable to walk out on his own, as Orton had to be wheeled out, and Owens mentioned he might have broken ribs, but at least he could walk. In the end, Owens felt he got exactly what he wanted, and it remains to be seen whether Orton will need time off to recover from the injuries he suffered at Crown Jewel. WWE has made it clear that Kevin Owens is out of control and determined to take down anyone in his path, so Cody Rhodes could be next on his list. Do you believe Kevin Owens and Randy Orton should continue their feud in the future? Please share your thoughts and feedback in the comments section below. Now, Liv Morgan was once considered one of WWE's most underrated superstars, but 2024 has seen the Judgment Day member add multiple major accolades to her record. Morgan is the Women's World Champion and now the Women's Crown Jewel Champion, placing her at the top of a women's division that she has struggled to lead forward. Her match with Nia Jax was booked as the usual underdog versus monster contest, but with both women being heels, the crowd didn't seem to favor either woman at first. Morgan quickly gained favor by fighting from underneath before Tiffany Stratton ran down with her Money in the Bank briefcase, though Jax told her it wasn't the right time. Tiffy was ordered to leave, but she had a change of heart, though Raquel Rodriguez tried to stop her from cashing in, and the distraction allowed Jax to take out both women and Liv at ringside. Dominic Mysterio tried to slide the briefcase in, and when the ref went to remove it, Rodriguez shoved Jax off the top rope, and Liv used the opportunity to hit her finisher for the win. Triple H presented a tearful Morgan with the belt, and this was a decent match, if not a little overbooked at the end of things. Morgan winning was the right way to go, and while Stratton cashing in on Jax would have been a great way to end it, giving Morgan her moment made sense in Riyadh. With the odds against him, LA Knight knew he needed to step up when working with Carmelo Hayes and Andrade, who have stolen the show week after week on SmackDown. Knight did just that with some of the best offense of his career, and he looked smoother than he ever has in the ring when working with two men known for being as fluid as it gets. Knight retained his title by hitting his finisher to both men at the same time and pinning Hayes in an innovative finish that was a fresh take on how to end a triple threat. While some will argue that this was the night for the megastar to lose the United States title, the hot crowd behind him and a top-level performance prove he is still rolling as champion. Andrade and Hayes are both worthy champions in the future, but Knight waited almost a year longer than needed to get gold, and now is the time to savor it. WWE cannot move too fast away from him unless he is stepping right up to the main event scene, and until that happens, expect the title to remain with the megastar. Bronson Reed pushed Seth Rollins in a simple but effective battle of monster versus man, and the Australian juggernaut has earned more opportunities on this stage with his performance. With that said, he should not have lost this match, and while Rollins stands a level above Reed on the card, the powerhouse has shown recently how much value he can add to WWE. Especially after losing his feud with Braun Strowman, Reed needed a bounce back, and a premium live event victory over Rollins would have put him right back on track. It's hard to be certain there will be a rematch, as while the two were still jaw-jacking after the match, Rollins could try to move on to fight CM Punk next. Hopefully there is still time for Reed to get his second shot and pull off the biggest victory of his career before his wave of momentum fizzles out after his defeat in Riyadh. Going into the night, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill looked to have a tough test, standing out in a rushed fatal four-way tag team match for the women's tag team titles. There were some botched moves, but most of what we saw looked good, and the stiff strikes between Cargill and Lash Legend made for a great sequence. Thanks to the combined efforts of the champions, Damage Control, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, and Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, this was an early show stealer. Especially down the stretch, everyone stood out in a flurry of sequences that got all four teams over, and even without a title change, this was the most fun the division has looked in years. It also set up multiple exciting matches for the near future, and Belair and Cargill versus Io Sky and Kairi Sane remains the money match for the time being. Metaphor made a serious impact and may have proven that Legend and Jackson are ready for the main roster, either with or without Noam Dar and Oro Mensah. Green and Niven losing likely puts them at the back of the line in the title scene, but this match also proved the value of these two once again as fun heels to watch. After the show, Cody Rhodes and Liv Morgan were escorted to the WWE World exhibit for the ceremony in the Vault section, where they were officially presented with the titles. As these championships will remain in Saudi Arabia, the pair also received rings that have previously been compared to Super Bowl rings, and they were indeed massive. While the cost of the rings was undisclosed, it's clear they must have been a fortune, and both Rhodes and Morgan delivered heartfelt speeches before receiving the rings. The moment clearly meant a lot to both superstars, and Triple H was also present to share some kind words about the two superstars. Morgan received her ring first, which featured 1.91 carats of diamonds, while Rhodes' men's ring was considerably larger and featured 2.86 carats of diamonds. The ceremony had an official, almost reverent atmosphere, with everyone showing respect as the pair received these lavish pieces of jewelry. Once the ceremony concluded, the event continued with the post-show activities as the superstars shared their thoughts on what happened on the show. And that was WWE Crown Jewel 2024, and what did you think of the show? Do you think the right people won? And what's your pick for match of the show? Let us know all your thoughts in the comments section down below, and as always, thanks for watching Slat Rock Wrestling.